Do you like dingers? Specifically, do you like FanDuel Dinger Tuesdays? Because if you do, we got something for you. Stay tuned. Welcome to Data Driven Sports Betting. I'm A-Train Bets, and I use my brain to make bets. Today, we're going to talk about a new feature that we have over at A-Train Station. It is called our FanDuel Dinger Tuesday search. And so we'll bring it right up. And what we're going to do in this is we are actually going to make it so easy for you to find these dinger home run plays at FanDuel on Tuesdays that you'll never want to go back and use anything else, because this makes it so simple. So when we come into this page, you can find this page on our A-Train Station. You go to promos, you go to FanDuel Dinger Tuesday, the first of what will be many specialized use case pages or promo pages, hence the name promos, that we're going to have for specific kinds of plays that are common and popular with our A-Train Station members. And so there's no more popular ones during baseball season than the FanDuel Dinger Tuesday. So if you're not familiar with FanDuel Dinger Tuesday, what that is minimum $25 bets on a player to hit a home run. And for each of the home runs hit in that game by any player, you will get a $5 bonus bet from FanDuel to be used later. So it's up to $25 in bonus bets, and that goes across multiple games. And so what that means is that you can play one play for $25 and get however many are in that game, or you can play a couple different plays across a couple different games and try to maximize to make sure that you get enough home runs hit throughout those games to be able to get that $25 bonus bet. And what we find is that's a really powerful promo that happens every week during baseball season and leads to a lot of positive EV. And what's nice is that unlike some of the other books out there, FanDuel actually offers pretty decent lines on home run plays to begin with, right? So that's something that is nice because a lot of these plays are positive EV from the get-go, and then with the added promotion, they're even better. So what we're going to have, let's walk through what this is for the Dinger Tuesday search, and then we'll go through and how we would actually play this strategy. So to orient you to this page, we've gone to the promos, we've gone to FanDuel Dinger Tuesday, and we've brought up this page. What we can do here, minimum EV just says, I want to look at a specific above a particular percent. So you might want to say 0%, and if you did 0% on this, it would only show you the naturally positive EV plays. So right now, these are all the home runs at FanDuel that are available that are positive EV even without the promotion. But let's remove that because I think it'll get more interesting if we remove that. The promo percentage that we have here is 50%. And what that means, what this percentage is you can choose how well do you think you will be able to convert that free bet or that $25 in free bet to actual dollars. Because what happens with free bets, if you're not familiar, is that when you get a free bet from a book like FanDuel, that free bet or that free play of $25 is only worth roughly half of that because you do not get the principal back when you play it. Now, you might be able to convert 50 to 60% of it. You might convert 40 to 50% of it. It really just depends on how you play that. You can set your promo percentage, which we default to 50%, because that's give or take about what it's worth, right? So that's fine. We can sort by EV, promo EV percentage, Dinger Index, or game time. We'll talk about the Dinger Index in a second. And then what we can do here is group by game. So what I'm going to do is group by game. We'll leave it set to EV percentage, and we're going to hit apply. And we're going to talk through what is in each of these other fields. And you'll notice that a couple of the fields went away here. These fields, this is the Dinger Index, this is the teams that are playing, this is the time of the game. When we get to group by game, what happened here is that just went up into the header. And that's going to be generally our mechanism. You see the time of the game is sitting a little bit behind me, so you can see that. So what we have now is the ability to look at this game. And this game for Atlanta Braves and Seattle Mariners, this has our best EV play of Matt Olson. If we want to, we can open this up and we can look at it and say, okay, Matt Olson, solid play, 6.5% play here at plus 360. We've got Pinnacle with a sharp book line. We've got, we're using our pinball strategy, so Pinnacle and Bet Online as our point of reference for book sharpness. If you're not familiar with that, you can go look at some other videos that will teach you about that. But in this case, we are looking at FanDuel plus 360 looks pretty good in the market by itself, right? So that's not bad. 6.5%, that's good. But when we go and look at it in our Dinger search, not only, and so what we might see here is that this line has probably, that line has moved a little bit. So the Matt Olson home runs is actually this one that we're just looking at. So 6.5%. If we now Ozzie Albies is the best play. So let's look at Ozzie Albies instead. So let's go over here. Let's look at Ozzie Albies. We see that 8.25%, right? So here we have, and this is actually the one we played earlier at plus 560. The line has come down a little bit now to plus 540, but regardless, still a very solid play. And what you can see is that it's an 8% play by itself. But when we factor in, and this is with my bankroll settings, which I have a $27,000 bankroll with a 15% conservative Kelly multiplier, it's saying I should be playing this at $60 anyway. Now, a lot of the time, I'm going to underbet what that recommendation is, but this is just a point of reference to say, okay, well, what should you play this based on the likelihood of winning, what the odds are, and all of that? In this case, like $75, because it's a higher degree of likelihood to win, I should bet more on this. This is just a nice point of reference. Now, what we see here is on the adjusted EV percentage with the promo, what we're doing is we're factoring in the fact that you will expect to have this 8.25% on the regular play, plus we would expect about 2.17 home runs in this game. So even if Ozzie Albies doesn't hit one of those home runs, we're still going to get a little bit more than effectively, $10 back in free play or $5 on that promo percentage, which impacts on a $25 bet pretty significant. Now, keep in mind, we're assuming a $25 bet when we calculate these percentages. This is just a reference point. This is for that $25 bet because we know that that's how you're going to maximize that EV percentage. Now, keep in mind too, this is kind of your maximum expected EV percentage with the promo, because if you end up making more than one play and you play it across multiple different games, say if you make 3 of them, there's a good chance that you're going to have more total home runs across 3 games than what you would have available for those promos. So that's good. The more home run bets you make, the more you're going to be likely to eclipse what that limit on that $25 is, because it's not $25 per game. It's $25 in free bets across the many games. So if you make 2 to 3 plays, which is the optimal in the Dinger Tuesday, because you want to get that $25, you just don't want to overshoot it with 5 or 10 plays, unless you really believe that, hey, these are actually really good positive EV plays that I want to play by myself, even without the promo. You can use this any day of the week. Just realize that the promo is not available any day of the week. So if you wanted to use the Dinger Tuesday surge on another day, on Wednesday, you just hit 0. And this is all going to be the same because there's no promo value. Fine. But you can look and say, okay, what are my best home run plays over at FanDuel today? Don't group by game. Here's the best plays, right? So you can say, okay, what are the best plays? Here's what they are. Even without the promo, you have a nice listing of home run plays that you can make if you want to play some Digger Tuesdays. Or sometimes you might get a free bet or something like that. These are interesting plays to make with a free bet because you get such a multiple of that bet size that it overcomes some of the fact that you don't get that principal back. So it's always advantageous to take and play a promo bet with a significant underdog, because on a percentage basis, you're not losing as much with the principal. It's harder to hit, obviously, but if you do that consistently enough, you'll maximize your return, which is really what we're about here, is understanding the total return that we're looking to get on our overall betting, not individual plays. So it comes from making good individual plays, recognizing that a lot of times those plays don't come through because they're underdogs or we get unlucky or whatever. But then a lot of times over time, the luck kind of evens itself out. So that's what variance is all about. And in this case, so you can see what I would probably do here, given where it is right now, right? I'd probably play in Jordan Westberg and that nice Dinger index of 2.6. Now, again, this Dinger index, let's talk about this for a second. This comes from the Novig odds, and we try to back into how many home runs are likely to be hit in this game based on what we're observing from the Novig odds. So we're taking out that house advantage. Based on the Novig odds, how many home runs are likely in this game? And we do some calculations here. These are not super complicated, but they're definitely not standardized. They're not consistent across every different place. This is kind of a A-Train Station special that you're not going to see everywhere else. We call it the Dinger Index, but it's very useful to help get us to this number to give you a relative gauge. Now, again, these are pretty high numbers. This is a really lucrative promo at that $25 level. So the difference between 36% and 31%, hard to say exactly what those percentages should be, but relatively speaking, we know that this play is probably a little bit better than this play, right? So that's how you could do it. And if you really wanted to just dial in what are my best plays, you could do a sort by promo EV We can even take the games off of here and just say, okay, what are my best plays today? Let's do this one for New York Yankees. Let's skip this Anthony Santander, or maybe you have a preference on one or the other. Maybe play Anthony Santander because more people are going to play Jordan Westbrook, whatever you want to do. And then you say, okay, this Dodgers game, this has the best expected return, and then Aaron Judge. We can skip him too because that's in New York Yankees. We go down this Atlanta and Seattle, right? And so if we do group by game, you can decide, okay, well, maybe that's a better way to do it. You could do a minimum EV percentage of 0. So just get away, because we know there's enough actually positive EV ones. This just gives us a good look, and you can go through it this way. So what we try to do with this is make it easy. As you play with it, you'll be able to start to interact with it quickly and get to those Dinger Tuesday plays. Because again, what we talk about at A-Train Station all the time, how do I solve for my next 5 minutes and next $5? And that really is when we know, hey, it's a Dinger Tuesday. I want to spend 2 minutes. You can do this in 2 minutes now. Analyze the plays, pick your 3 home runs for the day, go make the plays at FanDuel, and then move on with the rest of your betting. That's what this is all about. So hopefully with this video, you start to understand, here's how we can do this. You can, just like anything else you see here, if you want to go and look and see what Jordan Westbrook's got going on, you can look at all the details. We always show that. You see this huge worst case devigging range, which means like this is something where 9.71% is based on our worst case devigging against the logarithmic in this case versus multiplicative. Like some tools out there only show you multiplicative. Let me just show you this too, because this is such a great example. If I bring in and just say, add this little criteria to say, just show me the line against the multiplicative. When I do that, look at this. It looks like a 30% return just on the home run. This isn't even with the promotion. This is just with the home run play EV by itself. This is why we use worst case devigging, because this number isn't right. That's too high. That's too high at a plus 450. But when we use worst case devigging, it's still a pretty healthy play on a pretty big dog, right? So those are the kinds of things that you need to start to understand when you are becoming a sharper sports bettor. You have to start to understand how all these numbers relate to each other and how you can evaluate them in the context of promos, in the context of other plays, in the context of games, and really maximize the return you're getting on that portfolio of plays. And we're going to be providing more and more tools. This is like the first step of a bunch of promos that will ultimately have happen here. That's why we started with this promos tab, and we're going to have more that are going to come in over time. But we're also going to be providing tools to help you manage your games and your bets and your risk. And you're going to take dogs and you're going to take favorites, and you're going to have this nice portfolio strategy on a day in, day out basis, taking a diversified approach so that you can manage that risk in a way that will help you grow your assets for sports betting in the best way possible. And that's what we're trying to do with A-Train Station, is give you all those tools to solve in every way possible for your next 5 minutes and next $5. Those are your 2 most critical limited resources, and you need to be thinking about them both all the time. And so with FanDuel Dinger Tuesday Search, we're going to take you a little bit further in helping to solve for both of those things. So hopefully you find this very useful. It'll continue to evolve a little bit by the time you see this actually at A-Train Station, down the road. We released this in late April 2024, and it will probably evolve a little bit. We might add a couple things. We might tweak a bit of how it behaves, but it'll be substantively the same way. But you'll find it's there now in A-Train Station. That's the goal, is to help you become the best sports bettor you can be and get the best returns possible. So that's what we wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you find that the Dinger Tuesday search really helps you in maximizing the value that you get out of this particularly popular play over at FanDuel. So with that, for now, this train's leaving the station. Until next time, save the units for the pros and do your betting like the pros.